the Gravelbourg Tribune from January 20th, 2020, talking about electric tractors. I must say I'm fascinated when I see a headline asking, "Are we ready for electric tractors?" To begin with, I'm among those who believe, given a natural progression of things, the world will move towards less internal combustion engines burning gasoline and diesel. That does not mean a complete shutdown of such fuel sources, but rather opting where possible for cleaner alternatives. It's actually a winning vision in the sense any conversion actually extends the life expectancy of non-renewable fuel sources, which means having them for critical uses where they prove the best option. Passenger airplanes coming to mind as perhaps a key area that will long require fossil fuels. But that swerves me away from the starting premise of whether electric tractors are viable. Certainly, electric tractors are possible. Technologies exist today. The question is more about how the cost of electric tractors compare to more traditional power sources, and do they do the job as efficiently? The idea of tractors roving fields with essentially long retractable extension cords attached seems a tad strange, but at one time the mere idea of tractors taking over from horses was seen as a fantasy, and I am sure my grandfather, were he alive, would stand in some awe at the sheer size of today's largest farm tractors. It is likely as farming evolves toward electric power tractors, units are going to be smaller, the equipment smaller as well, with the technology being married to autonomous controls. It seems the most logical to go smaller, but have the ability to program the unit to run without an on-the-seat operator for much longer hours for an industry that has been going in a directly opposite direction. Farm units growing ever larger with horsepower of tractors and the width of equipment growing to match the additional acres. The idea of smaller will be a near paradigm shift for many producers who have, over the last several decades, seen tractors get bigger and bigger with every purchase made. Farmers are also going to question whether electric can deliver the needed power, although that will be a factor dealt with by smaller equipment in mind. It comes down to seeing two smaller units at work over longer hours covering the same acres, a system that works depending on the overall associate costs of both systems. Like most developments, from growing of canola to zero-till farming, few farmers will need to be early adopters of the technology, the in-field provers of the concept, and then electric will find its place in the farm sector. As additional commentary to that, there's already electric locomotives that provide enough power. It's not a question of power. It is a question whether you're going to have a spindle of electrical cord long enough, or some other design, or maybe the batteries will get so good that they can exist entirely on battery power instead of using cords. And the smaller equipment and more multiple equipment, if it doesn't drive itself, it's going to be an issue for farmers right now who have been downsizing the number of people involved in the operation. Of course, farm families have shrunk in size for one point.